Hey, this is John Bohlinger with Premier Guitar. Today we're doing a first look of the brand new Danelectro Nichols 1966. Now before I tell you all about this very cool new pedal, take a second to subscribe below. Thanks very much. So in 1962, Maestro came out with the fuzz tone, and nobody really cared until the Stones had a big hit with Satisfaction, and suddenly that sound was an important part of early rock and roll. So a few years later in 1966, a young Steve Ridinger, who is a teenager and also a electronics enthusiast, he wanted to build a pedal, but he didn't have any schematic, didn't even have the pedal to go with. So he came up with his own design, and this is that pedal. At the time he called it the Liverpool Fuzz Tone. So based on the feedback and the interest in his Liverpool fuzz tone, a few years later, Steve was able to start Fox pedals, which became a huge success and enabled him to actually buy Danelectro and bring that company back. Skip ahead to right now, the good people at Danelectro found some, photos of the original one and talked to Steve to kind of cobble together how he built it, and the best of his recollection, he put it together, and this is that pedal. And what I love about it, it is not a clone, it is not a derivative of other things, it's something entirely itself. And I think the magic is, it's part fuzz, part drive. And then as a modern accoutrement, they put on this mid-level cut switch as well. So it's a recreation of what he's doing back in '66 and has some modern features. So let me tell you about my signal chain. This is my 1960 Gibson Les Paul Jr. So you can hear it with a dog-eared P90. To give you a Strat flavor, I'm going to play my Sweetwood Sweetcaster. And then to give you proper humbuckers, I got a PRS I'm going to play as well. I'm running directly into the Danelectro pedal, and that goes into my pedal board, which has a Hydra and a Halo by Keeley. That's running into a Bad Cat amplifier, mic'd with a Roswell K47, and then going into an Apollo 8, and then out to you all. Okay, so let's hear what this thing sounds like. Let's start with my bass tone. So that's the guitar straight into this amp. Now, I came in with the fuzz and the drive up, volume and tone back a bit. But let me start just with the fuzz way down and the drive just starting to kind of say something. See what that sounds like. Right? Kind of a nice drive. Let me get it back a little more, make it a little more subtle. You know, really nice, just straight ahead drive. And you can make it more subtle, pour it back a bit. That's almost, when you bring it down, that's almost a leave on all the time pedal, because it just wakes things up, makes things a little bit more full. There we go. So just for a little bit of that, little hint of that drive. So Let's go ahead and bring that thing up there a little bit more. Get that drive really driving. Right? Good, straight ahead rock and roll tone. But the cool thing about it, these two really work with each other. So let me bring in the fuzz and I'll just feather it in. Now you can hear the more you bring that up, just the more kind of fuzzy and out of control it gets. Now let me bring back the drive a little bit. Now that is that real, I mean, that's a real fuzz tone that's got that out of control, like your amp is blowing up sound. Really does that well, but I love that you can tame it and get kind of both of them. Now, let me go ahead and give you a Strat to hear what that sounds like. Okay, so here we are in Strat land. Now let me put this thing kind of in the middle-ish again. I like that, kind of a nice bluesy tone, but as we bring in that fuzz, it'll get more kind of out of control. Man, that is a great out of control Stratty tone. Let me bring back that fuzz and make it a little more subtle. Right? Reasonable. Then get it in this. Now, let's try the magic switch. We have some good drivey, fuzzy bits. Let's try this thing. You know, that switch, let me try it again. That's a huge tone, but can kind of get a little lost in the mix. I think this is really going to put you out there, really cut. So I love that switch on a Strat. It gives you that stratty-ratty thing. You can actually, you know it's a Strat when you flip that switch. Beforehand, it could be a few different things because it's just got that wolfiness to it. But I love that. Let's try it on some proper humbuckers. Here's my bass tone. Okay, here we are. Definitely got the wolf. Let's put on the switch. Man, I love that with the flip of a switch, you can kind of solve that wolfy problem, if it's a problem. Let's go ahead and just dime this pig. I want to just see how nasty it can get. I'm going to bring down the volume a little bit, but bring the fuzz and the drive all the way up. You know, they say it's not really a fuzz, but man, that is about as fuzzy as you get. That whole thing where it just sounds like it's on the brink of destruction. I love that. So I think it's so cool that a kid in high school can be inspired by something, build it not really knowing what he's doing, and nail it, then forget about it for, I don't know, 50 plus years, and they brought it out now, and it kind of ticks all the boxes. I think as a drive, it stands on its own. As a slight, you know, as a fuzz, it stands on its own. It kind of does it all. So this comes in at $200. Good on you, Danelectro. Very impressive. Love that you brought this thing back from obscurity. To read the full written review, go to premierguitar.com. While you're online, make sure you subscribe to all our social media stuff, YouTube, the magazine. I'm John Bohlinger. Till next time, amigos.